Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. The trash talk was everywhere last night in the flank $30,000 tournament, not just from Tactical Scrappy, from Crimsix as well, and plenty of other spicy storylines to dive into today. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thanks very much indeed for doing that one. Firstly, just wanted to mention this quickly on BB Connor's side because not sure what the state of the game is right now with regard to the anti-cheats, but definitely a questionable positioning from this fella, and then as soon as he's about to come around the corner, coincidentally preempts him right when he's ready to go. So not sure if the anti-cheat even works in this game right now, but thankfully not a key concern in last night's tournament. Quick note of this actually, because one of the key questions I believe this season, especially for the Toronto Ultra side, is what's happening with their coaching staff. They've lost both Marky B and Mayhem to the Los Angeles Guerrillas, and it's no guarantee that that team of Scrappy Insights, CleanX and Standy is going to work perfectly well as a quartet in terms of culture, chemistry, these type of questions. Apparently Joe, who was formerly over there as the coaching staff perspective anyway, is potentially going to be returning. He was spotted in scrims, presumably team scrims, a couple of days ago. Makes sense because Josh is in the lobby as well here, who's now going to be the coach for, assistant coach for Methods and the Boston Breach guys. So yeah, possibly that's going on. Joe Pennington with the flanks, or whatever they used to say back in the World War II days. He's coming back to the Toronto Ultra, it seems. Quick note on Vegas, because definitely a key talking point of last night and the last couple of days is that the Las Vegas Legion are not looking too shabby at all. Some scrims from 2 days ago now where they took down Surge 5-0, and honestly, Surge early doors were looking pretty good, and I think, I'm not exactly sure where these teams are based right now, where they're living exactly, so what the hosting situation is here, who's hosting, who's not, which obviously does have some positive impact. But if FaZe are going to beat them 5-0 across these maps here, they played Fortress twice, that is pretty impressive, because Surge were looking pretty good the first few days as well. And also the Las Vegas guys last night, in combination with some of the Surge guys, were delivering the goods in last night's tournament as well. So pretty exciting prospect, I think. And Clayster, just in general, has been having a really good time so far in this game, tweeting a lot about how he's enjoying certain elements of it. And look, he's an exciting prospect because he's going to be 30. Well, he's already 30, I think, but he's going to be 30 certainly when the season begins. The oldest COD pro to ever compete on this type of level, and with any luck, he'll still be absolutely flying. And Vegas early doors are looking pretty damn tasty, it must be said. And of course, last night they were playing also in the flank Modern Warfare 2 $30,000 Invitational. These were the teams as we saw yesterday. All 12 teams apart from the Los Angeles Guerrillas were involved. We'll talk about LAG later today because there was a bit of spice going on there, thanks to none other than Gunless. But that did leave the door open for Crimsix and Co to come through. Crimsix, Slacked, aBeZy, and who was it, Rated or whatever, were a team of 4 last night. In addition to all the kind of pro players, the CDL won't allow the pros to play with their full teams in these tournaments, so they had to mix and match the players, but it worked well enough and it was certainly an entertaining affair. There's no doubt about it. Now, first of all, because there was only, 12 teams or whatever, they needed to have 4 teams getting a bye in the bracket to make that work, kind of like how it is in the CDL. 12 isn't always the perfect number for this stuff, but it is how it is. So they did a free-for-all where one team nominated a player from their roster to go into the free-for-all and see how it would go. Obviously, you can't read too much into this, but the winner was Joe Deceives, quite comfortably actually. 69 kills for him. Afro had 67. Shotzzy made a good comeback towards the end to get to 63 and secure 3rd place. Scrappy as well, he got 61. So all of those teams, Joe Deceives' team, and Joe Deceives was replacing Simp here. He's going to be the LAG sub for this upcoming season, and pretty interesting just because there's been a lot of trash talk against this guy's name so far from some of the pros saying, yeah, this guy doesn't deserve it, never really played a challengers game, dominated the ranked play leaderboards, all this type of stuff, and what's he done on the pro level? How did he deserve this spot over XYZ? ProLoot was even throwing some shade his way a couple of days ago on stream, and we'll see how that turned out for ProLoot actually in a second, because rather well on his side of things. But yeah, Joe Deceives' impressive performance here. Kismet, Envoy, Cellium actually, Temp and Nero all missing out on qualifying. Temp, I think, pulled out a stun at the end that Shotzzy kind of lost full over, but yeah, they won regardless and got the bye into the bracket. That left the bracket looking something like this. So Team Octane, that Scump's team with Shotzzy and Co, they got the bye, as did Team Skies, Team Insight, Team Major Maniac as well across the board, and the other teams started in winners round 1, as you guys can see here on the left hand side. This honestly was pretty funny, and I cannot wait next season for any time Toronto play Los Angeles Thieves. Drazah versus Scrappy is going to be just comedy on the stage, there's no doubt about it. And Drazah last night said this, I am back, because he's got the OpTic Gaming jersey on, because he was on OpTic Gaming a few years ago on the OGLA team in Modern Warfare. Still got the jersey, put it on for this tournament because himself and Octane were teaming up with Scump and Shotzzy on the OpTic side to make one of the OpTic teams. There was also kind of another OpTic team team. We'll see who in a second that some were calling the OpTic team, but we'll discuss that. First of all, this from Clayster, right? So the very first round, it was Team Beef, I think, versus Clayster's team, right? So this was the Porlex Hydra Kismet team that, you know, the questions were there as to whether the drama would be absolutely immense on that front. And yes, indeed, Clayster temp with Mack and Pred, so a kind of Vegas Surge hybrid squad forms together. And honestly, Clayster was looking damn good. Hey, subliners, you dropped something. And even Crimsix ended up playing this team as well, right? So I think they played Afro and Skies or whatever. I'm not sure if they won or lost, or the bracket is kind of confusing in my mind because there's a lot going on. We'll see the bracket in a few minutes here. But this was also in that game that he played in. Nice aBeZy gets up against the kind of hybrid Minnesota Rokkr and the New York Subliners team. So Afro, Bance, and then Priester and Skies was a team of 4. And Crimsix, despite obviously having retired from Call of Duty, was honestly having his way last night on stream. And this is a funny clip I wanted to share at the end of this. aBeZy gets, right, because he gets the third kill in a second, and then finishes off the job as well, taking down Skies here. Gets the final kill as well on, I think it was Afro or whatever, to finish off the clutch. Pretty interesting from Grimmy, pretty interesting words from him, just because getting dropped by the subliners, they've effectively made replacements there, right? So Priester has come through instead of Crim, effectively is what they've done. And yes, Skies is different, and the team looks pretty different to how it did last season, but still, Crim isn't so happy about the situation that went down last year. The idea that he's getting replaced by Priester and Skies in terms of those AR roles, and now he's taking them down in this tournament is, you know, pretty good for Crimsix, right? And honestly, it does blow my mind that he didn't get a spot this year, just because he's won champs on every single Infinity Ward title, and who's to say he couldn't do it again with the right tools. I hope he plays the Pram, but it seems kind of unlikely. 7-0 start here. This is what he had to say.
I'm going parking lot and I'm getting a 3-piece.
Wait, do you think I can still cross if I'm late?
You can cross late, yeah.
Do you think so? I'll begin.
All right, give it a
One of you just turn and watch your low mid.
Okay. Someone pick up.
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah.
I just sent it back. Nice.
I didn't blow right
Who's
out.
next?
I got it.
I'm
You want to
crazy.
play it? I'm gonna smoke up.
Yeah, go. I got you.
I just smoked.
I'm got you anymore. You're middle alley. You just smoked up. He's got you back.
Yeah, he backed up. He backed up.
He's on bomb with me. Girl, bomb.
Where's
Backing
he?
up.
Where's
Hold on, hold on.
Where's he?
Shh, Comms.
He's in their alley.
He's
Where?
back there across. The guy's down top AC, right? I'm pretty sure.
No, the other guy was, yeah, he was around the same spot, like around orange.
Shut up.
Afro.
Charge secured.
Love you.
Get the... That's it. That's going on Twitter. That is going on Twitter, and it's also going in an email to Farzam. Holy shit. You guys replaced me? I hate all of you.
Meanwhile, while that was going on, we saw this from Donny Temp here, right? So we've got Pred and whoever in a 2 versus 1 situation in their favor up against Scump's team, I believe. So this is round 11. Crucial map, of course, because it was hardpoint search and destroy, stuff like this. And Don gets the prayers out. He's trying to make it happen. And eventually, they do manage to close out the 1 versus 2. Pred gets the trade on Octane, I think, and that they managed to win the round 11 here. So Donny's prayers got answered on that one. Even this just worthy of note because the Prolute Joe Deceives drama you guys may have seen. Prolute takes him down at game 5, or maybe not game 5, but just round 11, drops him down to losers brackets. Joe Deceives 4 in 9, so that was pretty good from Slasher and Co, Slasher, Cellium, TJ, Prolutes. That was the team going on there. Let's talk about the OpTic situation though, because kind of interesting to finally see these guys actually in action. Scump didn't really even know the hardpoint rotations and stuff. He had to learn them kind of on the fly, and Shotzzy, of course, was on this team as well. Does blow my mind watching Shotzy's POV, just because, like, this game feels, and when you watch other players, it seems kind of clunky. Shotzzy manages to make it look really smooth, and I mean, yeah, the Vaznev being used at the moment. Lots of talk about GAs and what weapons might be used in the future, whether the Vaznev will be the SMG of choice, whether the Fennec, right, which is effectively the Vector, I guess, is going to be used instead. That remains to be seen over time. Scump clutched a nice little 1v2 here up against effectively the Vegas Surge hybrid, so the bomb gets planted over towards the B side, and look at this, Clayster gets completely gunned, the defuse comes through, but yeah, the time to kill on these weapons are pretty ridiculous, to be honest. So yeah, nice little 1v2 there from Scump. Now, the thing is that happened as a result of this is that after losing that round 11, right, and then however that series went, the OpTic team with Team Octane, effectively, which is Scump's squad, went down to losers to then play up against the other OpTic team, which was Dashy, iLLeY, and Co, right? So they're kind of the guys that got dropped versus the guys that wanted to drop them, whatever you guys want to say. They matched up last night, and in the end, it was Dashy and iLLeY that send Scump and Shotzzy home. There's a friendly fire going on right here, so I believe they won the hard points, and then they won the search search and destroy here on the Fortress map, game 2, round 11. And then, yeah, you can see Shotzzy doesn't have the best time right here. So, yeah, Drazah, Octane, Scump, and Shotzzy go home. It's Dashy and iLLeY that continue on in the tournament there with Nero and Vivid by their side as well. And that left the bracket looking like the following. So, Team Dashy takes down Team Octane there, that series we just saw. Then Team Slasher takes down Team Dashy. But in the meantime, right, it's Clayster's team that go all the way through before losing to Team Insight, we'll see in a second, who were making the losers bracket run. And then, well, I guess it's a double series here in the grand finals we shall see in a second, because this was one of the maps of the series. And Scrappy again having his way. We talked a fair bit last season about, yeah, this Scrappy guy. We very rarely saw him in the Pro League. I think he played one series. I'm pretty sure Scrappy technically last season had the highest KD in the league, because he played one series, maybe against New York or something for Toronto, because he had to sub in because Cammy was unwell or something. And he dropped a 1.26 or something KD in that series. Looked rather good. But of course, with Pred and even with Scrappy, everyone says, you know what, this guy, maybe just a Vanguard merchant, right? Is he going to be good at another game? Turns out he's still pretty good at Modern Warfare 2. No real surprise, but in this particular map here, he goes 12-4, 10 non-traded kills, and the trash talk from this guy is absolutely immense, honestly. Like, he won the tournament in the end. Nasty, Asim, Scrappy, and Insights. Many talking points here already. Good to see the London guys, Nasty and Asim, looking good, because I hope that these teams are competitive. Vegas are already looking pretty good. The London guys as well, if Nasty and Asim can perform at the level that they were here, which hopefully they can, because that's the question to me. I think you know what you're getting out of Zero and Paulix on that London team. The Asim Nasty question. If Nasty can be the superstar that I think he can be, then London can be very competitive, and we know what Asim is capable of in terms of pure impact and his best form. So I think that's an exciting prospect here for London, but also Scrappy and Insight already got some good chemistry, and yeah, Scrappy was not slowing down in this one.
Nice! Come on, baby! Get on! On Ani Ping! God. Off, bro. Go off. Go f yourself. Go off. Come on, man. Get turn. Oh, these guys are getting hit on. These guys are getting on. Mid door. Oh, I'm coming. Back him. Doing. Help him. Come on. One more. Oh, mid door. Nice. Nice, Byron! Nice! Nice! They can't f with me! They can't f with me! Let's go, Byron! Just on him! Just on Byron! Get on him! Oh my god, Byron just...
This trash talk from this guy is just so immense that when I put this clip in the video, which I probably just showed for you guys, like the amount of like kind of swear words that I've got to mute out or whatever is just unbelievable. It takes a lot of effort to deal with this guy, but you know, no real complaints. I mean, look at this, 250, 248 in the grand finals to take these guys down. This is another map as well, 250, 208. It's actually unbelievable the amount of trash this guy talks. You gotta respect it. And yeah, next season is going to be an entertaining affair because he is not afraid to say whatever to whoever. And like main stage on LAN next season is going to be immense. And I'm happy to have bit the bullet really and got Scrappy in, because if they didn't, someone else most certainly would. And look, Cammy's looked okay so far on the Minnesota Rokkr side, but those series are going to be intense next season, no doubt. So 30k champs, $25,000 each between Insight, Scrappy, Nasty, and Asim. Second place gets 5k each. Impressive stuff from all involved. Great tournament as well. Great idea and really well executed, to be honest, because it's much more interesting, I think, with the pros involved than with the content creators. And yes, rated and sacked or whatever, but you know, they were still former pros. So in my opinion, that still kind of counts. Former pros still count in the same category. Content creators, a little bit of a different story. So what are your guys' key takeaways from this tournament so far? To me, it's Vegas and potentially the London guys, but also Scrappy looking rather good. And certainly, I think based on what we've seen over the last 24 hours, we are in for an entertaining season. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.